Look around you. Design is everywhere. But what is it really? Some call it art, a tool, a process. Maybe it's all of those things. So who owns it? Is design strictly the purview of designers? Or are we all, in some way, designing ourselves and our world every day? These are just a few of the questions we asked ourselves at our Designology event. So keep watching to find out what else our guests and our expert panelists had to say about design thinking, innovation, and the roles they play in business and our everyday lives.
If I were to step away from design thinking and just talk about design, I don't think that there is a good definition of it. It's like defining beauty. Design is a problem-solving process. It's a point of view. It's a function. It's an aesthetic.
First thing you do in the morning is one of the most important design projects you have. That is to design yourself. So I think as people see that the design world includes them as a participant, not just as a consumer, I think that also changes the dynamic and the power.
Design thinking is a tool, it is a method for kind of thinking through something that is inherently abstract, something that is inherently intangible, something that is inherently ambiguous.
Is there inherent tension of trying to introduce uncertainty into organizations that by nature, whether it's financial pressure or cultural pressure, organizational pressure, is more about certainty than uncertainty?
Anytime you try to push the envelope of innovation, people have to buy into failure as an important function of that.
One of the problems in design as far as developing strategies is trying to come up with a strategy where you cannot predict the final result, where mistakes can happen.
I'm always curious to know what people think is the difference between art and design.
It becomes art when it becomes functionless on some level, and that's when people often have a difficult time kind of defining it.
I think design has to have that balance between the emotional and the analytic, the synthesis and the analysis.
Is that idea of being timeless, is that part of design, or is that an outmoded kind of way of looking at design?
One of the places where timelessness, I think, is a really big issue is in identity systems and companies that feel this need to de-timelessize themselves and upgrade by putting in drop shadows and gradations and all of these things. And it's a very disturbing trend.
A lot of things can be designed, and we can attempt to design them well. And that means that it's liberating out of, I think, the small box that we've put design in for so many years. We're looking at services, we're looking at so many business processes, we're looking at so many ways that we can create experiences that are really wonderful.
So I want to thank my panelists for making a really robust and interesting discussion about design and design thinking, as well as thank my audience. You guys made my job very